$100,000. There was a time when that number felt like the finish line for a lot of people. A six-figure salary used to mean you had made it owning a home, having a two-car garage, taking your family on vacation every year, and quietly building up your retirement savings. In the background, if you had told your parents in 1985 that one day you would earn a six-figure income, they probably would have thrown a celebration on the spot. And yet today, more than half of Americans making $100,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck, not slowly building wealth, and not just a little tight this month. I mean, truly living paycheck to paycheck, in much the same way as people earning $35,000 a year. And this is not some random claim. From an obscure blog, the data comes from the Federal Reserve, CNBC, and a Kearney report released in March 2026. That report explicitly used the phrase, walking on thin ice, to describe the situation facing many six-figure earners. Those were their exact words, not mine. So, how did we get here? How did a $100,000 salary go from representing an upper-middle class, comfortable life to becoming something that one unexpected event could completely derail? How did an entire generation of high earners quietly become the new working poor? That is exactly the question we are going to unpack today. And I promise, by the time you finish this article, you will look at your paycheck very differently. Let's begin. Every year, SmartAsset publishes a research report. In its 2026 edition, the company ran a $100,000 salary through the tax systems and cost of living data for 69 major US cities, and the results were startling. If you earn $100,000 a year in Manhattan, then after federal, state, and city taxes, and after adjusting for the local cost of living, your real purchasing power falls to just $29,420. Let me say that again. $29,420. That is the true economic value of a $100,000 salary in Manhattan in 2025. That is not middle class. That is barely getting by. San Francisco, $43,255. So where does $100,000 still actually feel like $100,000? In Oklahoma City, its real purchasing power is $91,868. In Corpus Christi, Texas, it is $91,110. In Memphis, it is $88,454. But here is the catch. Most of the jobs that pay $100,000 are concentrated in the very cities where that salary is worth the least. That is the trap. The places that offer high pay are often the very places that consume it most aggressively. Worse still, the trend is continuing to get worse. SmartAsset found that in just 1 year, the purchasing power of a $100,000 salary fell by 3.1%, and this is before we even talk about spending habits, before we talk about lifestyle creep, overspending, or careless financial choices. The system itself is already quietly eroding the real value of what people think of as a high income, and most people do not even realize it is happening to them. Now let's break down what a $100,000 salary actually looks like in real life. According to data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American household now spends about $6,545 a month, or roughly $78,500 a year, and that is just the national average. If you live in a major city, add another 15 to 30%. So, let's take a realistic example. After federal taxes, state taxes, payroll taxes, and employer benefit deductions, take home pay is usually around $6,200 to $6,500 a month, depending on the state. Housing, and I am not talking about a luxury home. Just a 2-bedroom apartment or a modest mortgage can easily cost $1,800 to $2,400 a month in these cities. Harvard's 2026 rental report just confirmed that while rent growth has slowed somewhat, the burden of renting has actually become heavier. The report found that 22.7 million renter households are now considered cost-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income on rent, and that group includes plenty of six-figure households. Car payments plus insurance. In 2026, $600 to $800 a month is not an exaggeration at all. The average monthly payment for a new car is now close to $740, and used cars are not much better. Health insurance. Even with employer subsidies, a family plan can still take $300 to $500 a month out of your paycheck, and that does not include out-of-pocket costs, deductibles, or prescription drugs. Groceries. For a family under the USDA's moderate cost food plan, a family of 4 now spends more than $1,100 a month on food, utilities, internet, and cell phones. Add another $350 to $450. And if you have children, childcare averages more than $1,100 per child per month nationwide, and in big cities, it is often double that. Some estimates show that for 2 children, childcare alone can cost an average of $28,190 a year. Then add student loan payments, which average around $300 to $500 a month. And then there are subscriptions, streaming services, software, gym memberships, and all those apps you forgot you were even paying for. A 2025 CNET survey found that Americans spend an average of $90 a month on subscriptions, and nearly $200 a year goes towards services they never even use. Now let's add it all up. Take a household in Denver with 2 parents and 1 child, earning a combined $100,000 a year. Housing, $2,100. Car payment, $700. Insurance and healthcare, $450. Food, $900. And their take home pay is only about $6,400. That leaves them with $25. $25 left for savings, emergencies, or anything unexpected. This is not a personal spending problem. It is a structural one. In 2026, the cost of maintaining a basic life in America has risen to match what used to be considered a pretty solid salary. That said, I would not be telling the whole truth if I left behavior out of the story. The structural squeeze is real, but it is not the whole story. In personal finance, there is a concept called lifestyle inflation, sometimes also called lifestyle creep, but because they feel they can, should, and deserve to spend more, you get a $10,000 raise, and instead of saving or investing it, you move into a nicer apartment, finance a newer car, start eating out 3 times a week instead of once, add another streaming service, refresh your wardrobe, and upgrade your vacations. Each decision on its own seems harmless enough. The amounts do not feel huge. They seem reasonable, and after all, you earned it. But taken together, that is often the entire difference between building wealth and standing still. Forbes wrote in late 2025 that lifestyle creep is one of the most underestimated threats to financial independence. Nearly 1 in 3 six-figure earners describe themselves as financially stretched, struggling, or drowning. That means 1 out of every 3 people making over $100,000 is not doing nearly as well as you might assume. And a big reason is that every raise gets matched by a higher level of spending. There is a brutal psychological truth here. When you earn $50,000, you think $100,000 will solve all your problems. When you earn $100,000, you think you really need $150,000. When you earn $150,000, you start looking at $200,000. The target keeps moving because spending moves with income. It is a treadmill, and it does not come with an off switch, unless you install one yourself. Internal Bank of America data cited by Fox Business, in late 2025 showed that around 19% of higher income households are currently living paycheck to paycheck, largely because their bills have risen in step with their earnings. And beneath that sits an even deeper force: social comparison. Your neighbor drives a BMW. Your coworker is talking about renovating the kitchen. Your Instagram feed is full of vacations and new purchases. And little by little, your definition of a normal life starts to move upward. You stop comparing yourself to the national median. You start comparing yourself to the people around you in the same income bracket and tax environment. And trying to keep up in that circle is incredibly expensive. There is a broader economic framework that helps explain why this is happening on such a large scale. It is called the K-shaped economy. If you have not heard the term before, here is the simple version. After the pandemic, the US economy recovered in two directions at once. Like the two arms of the letter K, the upper arm represents wealthier households, people with assets, investment portfolios, and appreciating real estate. Their wealth kept growing. The lower arm represents everyone else, people relying mainly on wages while facing inflation, high interest rates, and rising living costs. They either stalled out or fell behind. In March 2026, CNBC reported on a new Kearney analysis, whose conclusions challenged the usual assumptions about where the dividing line in a K-shaped economy really sits. You might assume that households earning more than $160,000 a year would be safely planted on the upper arm of the K, but Kearney's data says, not necessarily. The report focused on a category of households it directly described as walking on thin ice. These are people with high incomes, but also, shockingly, high fixed expenses, large mortgages, childcare bills, car payments, and debt obligations. Before the month even begins, their income is already spoken for, and the moment their income gets interrupted in any way, job loss, a rate increase, a medical emergency, there is no cushion and no easy way out. Katie Thomas, head of the Kearney Consumer Institute, put it bluntly, the assumption that the upper arm of the K is permanently insulated is itself wrong. Data from Moody's Analytics supports that conclusion. The top 20% of households now account for about 60% of all consumer spending in the United States. That level of concentration means that when these households get squeezed, the ripple effects spread across the entire economy. At the same time, Fortune reported in February 2026 that 87 million Americans are living in what it called the despair economy, while another 46 million are in the so-called elite economy of households earning more than $100,000 a year. But the gap between those groups is widening, and more people with decent incomes, but crushing cost burdens are falling out of the middle. That is what makes the high-income, poor phenomenon so dangerous. It is not just about personal irresponsibility. It is about the structure of the economy itself. On paper, wages are going up, but the cost of maintaining a middle-class life is rising even faster. You can do everything right, study hard, get a good job, earn a high salary, and still end up financially fragile. And when income no longer covers expenses, debt fills the gap. That is when the problem starts to snowball. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, none. The highest level since 2017, credit card debt alone had already surpassed $1.33 trillion, and the rate of serious credit card delinquency, accounts at least 90 days overdue, had reached levels not seen since 2008. Sit with that for a moment. Credit card delinquency rates are back to where they were during the 2008 financial crisis. And this is not happening only among lower-income households. The Harris poll found that among households earning more than $150,000 a year, debt delinquency jumped nearly 20% over the past 2 years, a faster increase than among middle and lower income groups. Higher earners are falling behind on debt at an accelerating pace, and on the savings side, the picture is not much better. Bankrate S 2026 Emergency Savings Report found that only 19% of Americans managed to increase their emergency savings in 2025. US News reported that 43% of Americans do not have enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency expense without going into debt, and a full one-third of Americans say their savings would not even cover 1 month of living expenses. As for the personal savings rate, it stood at just 4.0% as of February 2026. That may not sound terrible at first, but in the early 1970s, that figure stayed above 12% for long stretches of time. Americans today are saving only a fraction of what previous generations saved, while carrying this generation of Americans is earning the highest nominal salaries in history. At the same time, they are spending more, borrowing more, saving less, and feeling more financial pressure than ever. That is what defines the high-income poor. It is not about the number written on your offer letter. It is about what is left in your bank account at the end of the month. And for a significant share of Americans, that number is dangerously close to zero. So, what can you actually do about it? I do not believe in laying out a problem and then walking away. If you see yourself somewhere in these numbers, here is what the data and financial planners suggest. In a CNBC report, Los Angeles-based certified financial planner June said that many of the high-income households he works with appear comfortable on the surface, but once every dollar is tracked honestly, the picture changes completely. The number one killer he sees is excessive fixed costs, especially housing. If your housing costs, mortgage or rent, plus taxes, insurance, and maintenance, exceed 28 to 30% of your gross income, you are already in structurally vulnerable territory. Second, deliberately break the cycle of lifestyle creep. This does not mean living like a monk. It means that the next time you get a raise, the first destination for that money should be savings or investments, not a more expensive lifestyle. Set up an automatic transfer for the day after payday. Make the smart behavior the default, so that spending becomes the thing you have to choose consciously, not saving. Third, build liquidity, not just net worth. What matters is not only what you own on paper, but how much cash you can actually access. You can have $400,000 in home equity, but if a $2,000 car repair sends you straight to a credit card, that equity is not helping you in the moment. Another certified financial planner quoted in the Kearney report, Justin Race, put it clearly, financial stress is not determined by income alone. What really matters is flexibility, how much cash you have on hand, and whether you have a genuine emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of real expenses, not the lower expense level you had before your last 2 rounds of lifestyle upgrades. Fourth, resist the temptation to compare. This may be the hardest one of all. Your spending should be aligned with your financial goals, not with your coworkers' lifestyle. The person driving a leased Mercedes and living in a luxury apartment may be one paycheck away from trouble. You do not see their balance sheet. You only see their lifestyle. And using someone else's visible spending as your benchmark is one of the fastest ways to become high-income poor yourself. At the end of the day, the conclusion is simple. In some cities, before you spend a single dollar of discretionary income, taxes and living costs have already chopped that salary in half. The K-shaped economy has split the middle class in two. One half is building wealth, the other half is standing still, and the line between them is not just how much you earn. It is the structure of your cash flow, your spending behavior, and whether you can see the trap before you walk into it. 36% of households earning more than $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. Nearly 1 in 3 six-figure earners say they feel financially stretched or in trouble. Household debt has just hit another record high, and delinquency rates are nearing their highest levels. It is a story about a system that has quietly redefined the threshold of financial security, and far too many people still have not updated their understanding of what that now means.